Hey, it's JP with Meats Fab and Customs. We're going to carry on here with this Model A project we have going on, and we're going to start cutting the firewall. And that, like you know, from last time we did the subframe, and it's all been in, so the body is all, she's all pretty solid now here. So I don't have to worry about anything in there going. So now we're going to start doing the firewall. So we're going to start with here first is cutting out these, or not cutting them out, but drilling the rivets out of these side braces. Here, like I said before, I like to drill the rivets out so you can reuse these braces. But they're going to have to come out of here in order to cut this firewall for your chassis to come up in through here. And we're going to measure that all up and get it so we can get the chassis all mounted up in through the firewall and that. So there's going to be a bunch of measuring going on with the chassis and everything, so we get the openings all right. We're going to have to cut some of the subframe, but with the subframe being strong now, it's not a problem to cut that. So a lot of measuring, and we'll get this cut out, and then hopefully we'll get a chassis underneath this thing, and we'll start laying floors and things out. So stay tuned, and let's have some fun cutting stuff up and drilling rivets out, because you know that's always the fun part, drilling these stupid ass rivets out. But let's get this done. Well, this here's the brackets that I'm talking about right here, these corner ones right here that we're going to be drilling the rivets out in, and then just pulling those out for now instead of cutting them all up, because I'm hoping we're going to reuse these and just move them back to about here, and then we'll be able to use them to put the floor in and everything later on. And you know, they look original, so instead of getting in here and just hacking it up, because what we end up having to do is we got to cut into here for the frame to go through the firewall and everything is what we're going to end up doing here. So just pull these, drill these out, pull them out instead of cutting them all apart. So that's what we're going to do right now. And you know, there's no easy way to drill these rivets out. It freaking sucks. Not going to make it sound like it's fun and games. It sucks. So that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, there we go. It's out of there. Here's a piece here, right there. So they decided they needed a whole lot of spot welds in here for this. So I got spot welds out, got the rivets out, and got this all popped out. So like I said, by doing this, we can reuse this piece if we want to. You know, we can move it back here or wherever it needs to be, because your frame is going to end up, it's about this high, and it's going to come in like this, is where it's going to end coming into here. So we're going to end up having to cut out this from about here and then over to here. So with these out of here, it's one heck of a lot easier than we can put it all back in later on. So that's where heck, we got some wildlife here that who knows how old those are and what they are. If anyone knows, comment on what these things might be, because I have no clue. I am by no means a wilderness person. So this side's done, just got to get that other side cut out, and then we can start marking the firewall out and start cutting it apart. So here we go with the other side. So what we need to find out here is where the firewall is going to sit on here. So your wheel center back here. So you measure from here. I've already measured on the body. It's about 78 inches is where we're sitting. So you come up here, it's 78 inches. You mark your frame right there. So when you mark it right there, that right there is where your firewall is going to sit. So now what you want, and I usually flip these things up on their sides, just I find it easier to take the measurements on them. So once you find that point, on this. Now, you can just go like this. We're sitting about 27 3/4 to the outside of the frame. So 27 3/4. I'll usually add an inch, so you got a 1/2 inch on each side to move it around. So you're about 28 3/4 is what you're gonna want on this firewall. On this car is what we're going for. So we're gonna mark that out on there. The 28 3/4 is what we're gonna mark on this firewall here. On where the frame's gonna where it's gonna come through. What we end up doing is we'll measure in here to here on your to find your opening. Because down in here is kind of butchered. That's pretty good right in this area here. So you got an opening of 27. Of course, drop the marker. So usually what I'll do a lot of times, just write your measurements down. You're 27 there. I'm gonna actually end up opening this up to 29 inches to give it a bit more clearance. So what you're gonna do, so up to 29 inches, 27, so you're gonna go an extra inch on each side here. That's basic math 101 for you all. Not bad. Math teacher out there would be proud as hell with me. Not really, they hated me. For some unknown reason. I was a stellar student, let me tell you. Skipping off was a class and hanging in the parking lot. I'd be a master. So right there. So what I'll do is I'll grab my square and measure and just go onto here and up to there, and that'll be the opening for, but I got to figure my height out yet. So that's where we'll go back over here to the chassis, and right where that one line is that I put with my firewall, this little line right here, and that I'm going to want the height to here is what I want. Because that right there is where you're coming through. This will be inside the car actually is where this will be. So you're going to want the height. So you're going to put a flat edge right there. And measure from there up. So doing that, you take right there, just go like that. So from what I'm seeing right here, you're 6.5 at your frame. So I'd go 7 is what I'm gonna come up on there. So we're gonna come up 7. We'll come up 7 inches where we put those marks from the bottom. So from there, bottom of the frame, because they're from the bottom of the body here, because this here is going to sit level, is what's going to end up happening here in the end. It'll sit flush with the bottom of the frame. You're going to go there. Holy cow. Nice hands there, Fumbles. Right there is your 7. So you'll be cutting right up to there. So to here, up is what's going to be coming out of here. And that on both sides. And that'll be right where your frame's going to come through. So your frame, remember those pieces we cut out of there that, or we didn't cut them out, the pieces with the rivets that we took out of here. And that's pretty much where your frame's going to go, is how that piece was. So that's why I said save that. What I'm hoping, once this frame goes through here, I can remount that piece in there for the floor. to make it easier to put a floor in. So that's what I'm hoping. Not sure if it's going to work out for me, but here's hoping it will. So I'll get this all marked out, and we'll do some cutting here, and then this will be all ready to go. And then once I get it on the chassis, then we'll figure out where we're cutting for the transmission in here, because you're gonna have to cut out for the hump of the transmission. The way these chassis are, they've been stretched, so you don't need sometimes on a 30-31 you'll take these firewalls off and you'll turn them around to make so you have more room. It actually indents it inward, so it gives you more room for distributors and all that. You don't have to with these ones, but that's when you're doing these as well. Make sure, and I actually just had a conversation with a gentleman last night about it, make sure you get a distributor in and out when you mount these. I know we got a little bit to go on that, but there's a lot I've seen out there where you can't get a distributor in and out, and having to pull a friggin' engine ahead and stuff like that to pull a distributor out is not very smart planning. And especially, I don't know about the rest of you out there, but I've been known not to hit number 1 when I drop a distributor in. I've been known to miss by a tooth or two and then have to redo it. So, you know, if you got to put a distributor and change a distributor and you put it all in, then put it in, go to fire the car up and you missed, well, guess what? You're pulling an engine again to pull a distributor. It makes 0 sense. So just think all this stuff out before you get into it. And because nothing sucks worse. It's no different when you do these. Make a removable transmission mount, because I hate to say it, if you blow a transmission, you don't have a removable transmission mount, you're pulling a whole engine out. And I don't know, I don't want to pull a rad and everything else out to get an engine out to do a transmission. That doesn't make much sense to me, but sometimes I'm not the brightest guy around, but that's just me. So those are just little things to be watching here while you're building. You know, think about hot rods break, hate to say it, and think about the fixing part of it when they break. Try to make your life easy. So, like I said, I'm just gonna mark this out and go from there. So I marked all my lines out here. And if you notice, I use tape to make a nice straight line. And then when I tape it, I take and I put arrows. And you've seen me do it before. That way I know what side of this line I'm cutting on. And so I don't end up cutting on this side. The other thing, I've marked the hole center here. I'm gonna drill a 3/4 hole here. So when I come up, I'll only go to that 3/4 hole, come across, go to that 3/4 hole, and it'll be a nice round edge in there. Instead of square, it'll be nice and round, so it'll look more original when you do that. So that's what we got going on. And then I'll cut across here, and then at that point we'll get inside and we'll figure out what we need to cut inside here to get the front of this body to drop down on.
Leaves are changing. Ooh, yeah. Summer's gone, but we're still dancing. Ooh yeah, ooh, yeah. Sweater weather, chill together. Pumpkin spice on every corner. Ooh yeah. Bonfire nights, starry lights. Hey, hey. Crunching.
Okay, there we go. It's all cut out. So you can see here, right in here, I'll end up. I'm right here. Here, we're going to start doing measurements on the inside now to see where we need to cut on the inside. So this here, we'll let your frame and everything come in here. I had to open that up a bit more. But yeah, so your frame and everything will come right in here now. This here ends up sitting on the bottom. It's flush with the bottom of your chassis, and that hence channeling and all that. And then like I said, we're going to go from here, and we're going to take some more measurements on the chassis. So usually what I do, I know we're 29 here, so what I'll do is I'll probably come back about 6 inches, do another measurement, then you can just grab your points all the way back until you're clear of this of your subframe, and then you'll be able to set it down on the chassis. The next thing we do here, like I've got the firewall marked here already, so with it marked, I'll come back here about 6. Probably come back here to start with. Come back 12 inches. So come back a foot, just mark it. Give yourself a mark there. And then measure your outside to outside again. There, about 29 1/4. So 29 1/4. there. So add an inch. There. So 30 1/4. That gives you half an inch movement side to side. So come back from your firewall on your on the inside here of your body, and come back to 12 inches, and then figure out your 30 1/4 there, and then you can straight line it back to there, and then we're gonna do another probably 6. It depends where we get onto your onto the subframe. We may only have to go 6 inches, may have to go another 12 at that, so this thing will slide down on. So let's we'll get inside there and measure that now, and we'll go from there on what we have to do here next. So right here we'll come in, I'll measure on the edge of this firewall. Back here the 12 inches, which is right here. On the 12. Do the same on the other side. Back there, 12. And then from there, we measure side to side. We got 29. So 29. As I write my measurements down there, just so you can remember them. We need 30 1/4. So, ooh, that's a different, what, 1 1/4. Back to that basic math again. So we need 5/8. Wow, shouldn't be doing math. 5/8. 5/8 from this edge here. So, from what I'm seeing here, anyone else have this here? Anyone else have this problem with tape measures when they're, well, the first 12 inches, you lose your numbers. Like, you can tell all the measurements I use on a regular basis. Like, if you pull this thing out past 12 inches, your numbers are like brand new. Down here, you can barely make them out. And am I the only one who has this issue? Does anyone have any fixes for this? Because the number of tape measures I get rid of because of that, I would love, if anyone has any ideas, I'd be it'd be great. But anyways, from what I'm seeing here, I'm more or less just gonna cut this right there at that seam. That's more or less what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring it from here. I'll make a line come from here to here, which is pretty much gonna be, take this, break right out of here is what's gonna end up happening here from what I'm seeing. And then I'll just do this right there. This is gonna be about the easiest way, and it'll make life easier when I go to put the floor in and everything, and then join it all up. To be honest, I'll probably, because from what I'm seeing here, I'm probably gonna end up doing it all the way back to here, just like that. And I figure I'll do one more measurement. I'll come back probably another 12 inches and see what I am in here, because the frame, it gets wider, but I still think I'm gonna be okay in here because the body gets wider. So honestly, I'll probably just go from this and just pull that edge right out of here on it, on both sides, and that'll give me enough room for this thing. So, and then by the looks of it, I roughly laid out the piece that we drilled out and pulled the spot welds out. And that piece there, once we get everything cut and get everything back in here, I'm pretty much going to be able to use this piece again, which is going to be great, because then we can put our floor pan in, our floorboard in there later on in life. We're going to have the cutout for the hump and everything, but we'll be able to put the original kick in there for the floor. which will work out nice. But you know, the amount of time it took to drill that, to pull that out, was, it just makes your life easier when you have to get in here and cut all this out. And it just makes nice, cleaner cuts, and so it gets it out of your way. So I'm gonna take one more measurement back, 12 inches, and see where this falls, and then I'll start cutting it all out. All cut out, and the chassis all fit in there now. So like I said, I just cut that edge all the way along there. I just took that edge off where the floor used to sit, and then up in here we took a little bit out of there. So like I said, once I get that in there, we're going to be able to put those pieces back in again that we drilled out earlier. We'll be able to put those back in, and then we'll be able to set the floor on it and everything, which will all work out. It'll look nice. And it'll look original. So the way that frame's set up, you don't end up having to cut that much out, which is nice. You still have all this structure here, which all holds your doorpost and everything. So you're not cutting everything out to channel this. The other thing that's nice is, like I said before, your floor is going to sit right here. So your floor is going to be right where the factory floor is. Oh, I had a busy couple days. Well, actually a busy night, getting this looking like this. We got the chassis under it, so I'll finish cutting it and getting everything underneath, getting everything centered up on it. So there we go. There's what it looks like. Those brackets we cut out, there's one I've cut up already. So the floor is going to line up with that. That one's not back in yet, but there's what we got happening. So the chassis is all underneath this thing, firewall openings all. So we got we're making progress here. We got this thing actually starting to look like a hot rod. So we'll be able to start fabbing up the floor. Got to cut out the openings there for the rear diff. We'll go through that, how we measure that all up. So everything's just kind of, I got to put some more tacks in there to hold that chassis and body where it needs to be. But like I said there, you can see now the subframe, we'll clean that up more. But yeah, we're making some progress. This thing's starting to look like something. But like I said earlier, here's the this is the floor, so it's pretty much in your stock spot. So you know, you got all kinds of height here. So if you wanted to, you can chop the hell out of this car and still be okay. And even if you're tall, you can still get into this thing. So that's one advantage there. That gives you quite a bit more room. And then when we go through the floor, I'll show you another trick here to keeping this thing down low, so you're not, you're not adding like 5 inches, which a lot of guys end up doing. Once you start adding that 5 inches plus seat plus, you're looking out of visors. So that's where we're at right now. So, pretty happy with the progress here. We're just going to keep rolling away on it. So, if you like what you see, you know what? Comment, share, like, follow, all that good stuff. Subscribe to my channel. You know, the more views, the more stuff we can do. And, we're going to take this car and we're going to be chopping it up and getting a floor in it and carrying on. So, you know, it's wintertime. It's time to work on stuff. So get out there, get out to your shop, get out wherever, and start building stuff and build some cool stuff. Get out there and build something cool today. And everyone have a wonderful day. And hopefully it's not too cold where you are. Have a good one.